On this podcast, we explore the many dimensions of spirituality and how they intersect with everyday life. Join us as we dive deep into conversations about how people are serving humanity, embodying spiritual wisdom, and creating positive change in the world. From ancient traditions to modern practices, the Spirituality Now podcast is your space to discover, learn, and be inspired. Welcome to this week episode of the Spirituality Now podcast. I am your host, Ivonne Delaflor. And today is a dream podcast. Some people say like manifested, right? Like I manifested something for me. Having our guest that I'm going to introduce you in a moment to here is like not only a dream, it's like not only manifestation. I call these godifestations. She was the kindest human. I reached out to her on social media. I invited her. She said immediately yes. I was like, have to read over and over again. And she said yes. And it's such a privilege to have her, just for you to know in advance. But let me introduce her to you. I have in the podcast today Miss Bobbi Vargas, a dynamic. When I tell you dynamic, is to the top levels of dynamic entrepreneur, public speaker, and the founder of Bodela, which thanks to Bodela, I came to know about CMOS, but that's for another moment. Bodela is a luxury beauty and wellness brand with a strong background in business strategy and luxury sales. She has collaborated with prestigious brands such as Lift MD, Escada, Chanel, which I love, Dolce & Gabbana, Valentino, and Christian Dior. I don't think that I've ever said those brands in my podcast. I feel spiritually accomplished. As a seasoned consultant, Bobbi specializes in creating exceptional client experiences and fostering meaningful connections. Her expertise spans in sales mastery, team leadership, and trend forecasting. I mean, wow. All driven by her commitment to excellence. Beyond leading Bodela's global expansion, she inspires audiences as a public speaker, empowering individuals to unlock their potential. Passionate about both business success and personal transformation, Bobbi thrives on challenges, which is so true, that allows her to exceed expectations and leave a lasting impact. She's a mother, wife, entrepreneur, mentor, guide, and her work blends strategic acumen with genuine human connection, making her a powerful force, not only in the luxury and wellness industries, but in the world. Bobbi, welcome to the show.
Wow, what an intro. I'm so honored to be here and thank you for hosting me. I appreciate you and your time.
Oh no, thank you. And let's start. Let's go over a couple of questions just to dive deep. Just we're very excited to have you. And let's start with who is Bobbi at her core. I know this is a typical question of podcast, but since this is the spirituality now, and I believe that everything fundamentally and foundationally comes from spirit, everything in our life. I believe sales is spiritual. I believe like Chanel. I used to have Bobbi as a personal slogan that I meditate in Chanel because I used to collect all the purses and all of that. So I think that everything with the right point of view and the right mindset, everything is really a spiritual tool, a spiritual support. So with that, um, who is Bobbi Vargas at her core? And how did your experiences in your life began to shape the woman and entrepreneur that you are today?
It's interesting, and I love the name of your podcast, the spirituality part. We all grew up, possibly not all, most of us or some of us have grown up knowing that we are a spiritual being. But what does that really mean? And I didn't learn that till later in life. The majority of my younger days, it was go, go, go after the dollar sign, right? Not for the love of money, but because we needed to survive. As a child, I started working at the age of 10, helping my mother. She was a hostess at a diner, and to alleviate the financial burden from the family, she didn't have money for a babysitter. She would take me with her to the diner. I would sit there and I would bust the tables, clean the tables after the customers. And at the end of the night, the waitresses would come together and give me a portion of their tips. That's how I learned how people earn money. I wasn't taught you do work, you earn money. It was sort of by accident, right? And so I grew up chasing the dollar sign for the sake of having to help the family growth. We needed a new car or a bigger house or whatever the case is. So you're constantly chasing the dollar sign. Not till I reached real adulthood, and that could mean anything for anyone. It could be, some people reach adulthood in their 20s, some in their 30s, some in their 40s, some in their 60s. And not till I was diagnosed with cancer and beat cancer. And then I had a child who was diagnosed at a year and a half with autism, level 3 autism, which he needs the most care, nonverbal. That's when adulthood, and then what true spirituality meant for me. I learned recently, I heard a woman say this, and I thought it was absolutely beautiful, and it hit me hard to understand. We are not meant to know what we look like. If you think about it, the only way we learned about a reflection is through maybe looking on a stream of water. And even then, it wasn't very clear of what your imperfections, right? You couldn't see your imperfections looking at water. Then glass came about, then mirrors came about, and then everything else, social media, and now we're very judgmental and very hard and cruel to ourselves because of our imperfections. We are spiritual experience. That's what we are. So when I speak with you, it's what spiritual experience did I walk away with? She uplifted me. She made me feel stronger, confident. What spiritual experience are you giving out in life? And that's my mission now is, how Bodela transpired. You're right. My experience, by study, I studied biochemistry. Life took me into the fashion and beauty world, because while I was studying biochemistry, I was doing celebrity makeup, and I was making so much money that I thought, why am I going to med school? That was my mission, when I'm making so much more money than my professors, because my goals were different then. And so fast forward, after that diagnosis for myself and my son, now I'm thinking, how do I help my old self? I believe entrepreneurship, just like motherhood, is a spiritual calling. I believe the spirit of our children, the spirit of the project that we take on is calling us. Not everyone has this calling. Some people are happy being in a stationed position in life, right? Whether it's, I'm happy with my 9 to 5, I'm happy being, just a wife, I'm happy being just this or just that. And there's no wrong or right. It's what's right for you, right? But I truly believe it's a spiritual calling. As a matter of fact, I love to study religions. And in Kabbalah, it tells you that it's a spiritual calling. And it's funny you said that collecting Chanel product is a spiritual experience for you, because also in Kabbalah, it tells you, this is why we sometimes say, I have to wear my favorite shirt or suit to an interview or to a date, because the person that touched that product left their energy in it. Life is all about energy. And the reason I started Bodela is because I wanted to help my old self alongside people that are going through what I'm going through or have gone through, right? I wanted to provide people, especially busy mothers, busy women, busy men, with the best. How do I condense and simplify your wellness journey? That's my mission. So instead of, it's a whole complete journey for me right now. It's a bit upsetting to know that they're stripping our food of nutrients. Then they're telling you to buy vitamins that cost upwards in the hundreds of dollars that insurance refuses to pay for. Right. And it becomes costly to anyone. It doesn't matter how large or small your pocketbook is. And so with Bodela, we're the first company to condense 10 different mushrooms into one product, right? So now I'm saving you money and time, and I made it into a gummy bear so that it's playful, it's fun. You don't have to, pucker your lips or squint your eyes when you're taking vitamins, and then it's on the go. And if you don't have time to make a smoothie or make a shake or make a salad, then this is what Bodela is all about. And also with the autism spectrum, that my a part of the mission of Bodela is, how do I help them? There is no cure, I understand that, but there's a solution, right? So what is the solution so that they can excel in our world, even though they're living their own world beautifully, independent of ours? But nevertheless, we have to combine worlds at the moment until the world can better understand the world of autism. So that's my spiritual journey now, and I learned that my experience with every individual is about a spiritual experience, and it's not what I appear like, what you look like. It's what was the spiritual connection between you and I. And that's every single transaction we have in life, whether it's a friend or a client or a family member, or even within yourself. What are we fixated for so long about physical fitness? How about our mental fitness and our spiritual fitness, right? So that's all one connection. And that's my journey right now, and my belief in what spirituality is all about.
Wow. I think you answered all the questions that I had. It was like one, like kind of psychic vibes. But let me go, Bobby, because you covered the whole spectrum, let us say. But you were diagnosed with cancer, and that you said it because you have already gone through it. You already went through the fire. You have received, I think, one of the most challenging things that puts in perspective our humanity, our beingness, our spirituality, is when we receive a diagnosis, or when a loved one receives a diagnosis. And you did it twice: one yourself, cancer, and then one your son, which is a more permanent diagnosis in this so-called neurotypical world. So how someone so accomplished in business, in sales, in you're so resilient. I can feel your force, your power, like I can imagine if I will go in a competition, in a race, that you will be like, come on, team, let's go. I can see you winning. I don't see you not winning. I see you learn from the losses. Let's go. One of the things I remember, one of the groups, a mentor that I had, he expressed himself very highly of you, about this winning spirit, this resilient spirit, right? But what is it for someone? Because people think like, because you are so strong, you're always going to be strong, and nothing can bring you down. But what happened when you were diagnosed with cancer, and then you received the diagnosis? How did you walk through the dark? How did you walk through the fire of those two that I call initiations into our deeper humanity?
Right. I speak of expectations in life. We should set expectations. Many people will fight me on this and say, no, if you set expectations, then you're setting yourself for disappointment. But it's not about disappointment. It's about values. It's about standards. Imagine if I didn't have expectations, then if I deposited my money in the bank and I can go there tomorrow expecting my money will be there, right? And it's not. I expect the police to handle someone that breaks into my house. Imagine if I didn't expect that, then that means I have to take matters into my own hands. So we live life with expectations, or should have expectations. But when you're diagnosed with a cancer, when you're diagnosed with autism, or a loved one is, or even start a venture such as entrepreneurship, a business, you truly don't know which direction to go. It is like walking in the dark, as you mentioned. And you just hope and you expect, that's, if you go back to expectations, we expect our family members to support us and say, you can do this. But when they see you, and I speak from personal experience when I tell you this, when they see you with entrepreneurship, Yvonne, you will have days of tears. You will have days of sweat, days. And if you're doing this, to anyone that's listening to this podcast, if you're going into entrepreneurship for monetary wins, know this: you're going to be at zero for a long time. And you are winning if you're actually in the negatives, because now you're borrowing against what you own, like credit cards and what have you. So you're actually doing well if you're in the negatives. It's not for another 10 years, if you're lucky, will you see the monetary rewards. And this is maybe for a different podcast. I can tell you about my experiences of how I am right now in successful retailers. And
Please,
most
Please, we want it all.
Absolutely.
We want it all.
I'll tell you, most retailers, and I'm speaking of big boxes like Whole Foods, like Walmart, like Costco, a lot of them net you. They meaning, Bobbi, give us your products now and we'll pay you in 60 to 90 days. So what do you do in the interim? Now you're out of money because you're having to buy product to fulfill orders that you're not being compensated for yet. Many of the businesses that, by the way, every single one said no to me, every single one. So talking about a fighter. So when you're this is why I love entrepreneurship. It trains you for the worst in life, such as cancer, such as autism. I hate to say that it's worse. It's not. Different part of life that we're not familiar with or trained for, right? So when you're in entrepreneurship, you have to build thick skin, so you can't, and if you're a winning entrepreneur, you can't, the only reason you will fail is if you quit. So if you quit on yourself, if you quit on your child, if you quit, and there are people that do, there are people that give up on their children, on their marriages, on their businesses, on their jobs, on themselves. And, then they're on antidepressants and God forbid, suicidal thoughts, right? Just because they're giving up on life. And so as an entrepreneur, you build that. I love that you have a son that's an athlete, that athlete mindset of you fall, you get up. And I wish we can reverse life in terms of mind challenges and go back to childhood. A child, when he's learning how to walk, he doesn't care what he looks like when he's trying to climb the table, hold on to the table or the sofa so he can learn how to walk, or he wobbles, he looks like a duck, and he doesn't care what you think what he looks like. And we're laughing, oh my God, look. And then he falls and then he gets up again and he falls. He doesn't care of anyone's opinion. And if we think like an athlete, if we think like a child, you will never lose in life. And walking in the dark, you expect family members and loved ones to support you, even mentors. When I wanted to go to med school and I was speaking to a counselor, I was studying biochemistry, and they asked, well, what do you want to do next? Oh, I'm thinking of going to med. Do you know the handful of even doctors that said to me, don't do it. Don't do it, right? So even people that you think would be supportive of your decision because that's their post in life, they're counseling you. I'm not asking your opinion if I should go to med school. I'm telling you that's what I want to do. So you counsel me on the route. Okay, this is the next class you need to take. This is the school that, yada, yada, yada. You would think someone would lay out a blueprint for you. But they look at you, they say, don't do it. There isn't much money in there. You'll never have a life, all this negativity, right? And including your family. First, they're supportive of your mission. Oh, you want to open a business? Do it. You can do it. You can do it. We love you. We'll support you. We'll even shop with you. And then they'll see the struggle, the financial burden, the doors that close in your face, and the tears that you have at night, the anxiety, the depression. It's a roller coaster. It's ups and downs in life. And then they tell you, why don't you just give up? Just let it go. Not because you can't do it, because we see, the burden, we see the stress. Why don't you just focus on yourself and your child or your home or your husband's business, right? Focus on that instead. And then you feel betrayed. That's not what I expected. I expected you to say, you're bleeding, get up. You're still breathing. As long as you're breathing, keep going. And you can pivot. You can say, look, let that be your decision. Don't let it be the noise coming outside from the world, that you give up on you, that you give up on your dreams, and you give up on your loved ones. Don't let that be the reason why, right? And let it be your reasoning. Say, I realized this is not for me, but you're now speaking with clarity and conviction. I gave it a shot. It's not for me. But because, this is so hard, no one is, and I still go through this. I'm in retailers. They all said no. And at first you're offended. You feel sad, you feel sorry for yourself, you feel hurt. Why? No one ever says no to me. First of all, they don't know you. And so my husband even said to me, he said, you're like stalker position status. Like you keep stalking Eva, leave her alone. She already said no. Like, so what? She said no. She's going to say no again. Let her keep saying no. But I'm going to convince her. Why? Give me a no, turn that no into a maybe, and then that maybe into a yes. Almost, I love using dating as an example. Even, will you go out with me? No,
Thank you
Bobby,
for
I'm
tuning
not
into
going
the
out with you.
Spirituality
Okay, that's
Now
fine.
podcast.
And if I
We hope
continue to
today's
ask,
episode
Yvonne, will
has
you just, let's
inspired
do a
and
movie.
empowered
Don't
you
do dinner.
on your
Let's do
spiritual
coffee.
journey.
That
If you
no
enjoyed this
after 10 no's.
conversation,
Okay, just
please
to shut me up.
subscribe,
Okay.
leave a
Let's do a
review,
coffee.
and share it with others
And
who
then
may
that,
benefit
then so
from it.
basically that
Remember,
maybe I'll go out with you, and then
spirituality
it's
is not
okay, I'll
just
go out with
something
you.
we
It's almost like
practice,
that.
it is how
Even if
we
there was like
live,
no
how
sexual
we serve,
attraction, no
and how we
interest at all.
connect.
But guess
Stay
what?
grounded,
It might
stay
not lead to a
inspired, and
marriage,
keep
but it'll
evolving.
lead to a great
Please join
friendship.
us
It will
next
lead to a
time for more
business venture. It
enlightening
would lead to
discussions.
something,
And
right?
until then,
So, and
take
that's
care
exactly what's
and be
happened with
well.
every retailer. I'm in 20 to only Sun Life Organics. They have 12 and opening 13 locations, a total of 20 locations. And every single one said no. Every single person said no. And I turned that no into a maybe, and that maybe into a yes.
Wow, that's amazing because this is you are sharing how how people can face skepticism. I think that's how you say it in English, or judgment, and you rise above it, right? Like it's a no is not a no until you make it to be, right? If you quit. So I love how, and also I love how you shared that entrepreneurship gives you a thick skin because things are gonna come, right? The people that tell you not to do it, it's like I love this new commercial of Nike. This is not advertisement, by the way. I have to say this in the podcast. That it says like you are told not to do it, you cannot run, you cannot jump, you cannot do, and at the end it says, so go win. So do it anyway. And you have that spirit. You have this spiritual athlete kind of, force that you're gonna make it. So I can't wait, to see. I know Bodela is gonna be like, in like the luxury of nutrition and all of that just by what you are sharing with me now. These mindset strategies that you have, I mean, I think you are wired by them since 10 years old, right? You took them since you were helping your mom, serving in the diner, getting paid. I mean, that's a very noble beginning, right? A noble, like people may see you right now and think like, it's the money, is the looks. No, there's a spiritual foundation in this since the beginning. Now, how in this, and we were talking behind the scenes in this era of social media that is brutal, especially for our young minds, people that are not thick in not only in their mental scheme but spiritual, emotional. There's no thickness. There is this belief that people can win easy, or that they get the participation diploma, or that they should have the lots of likes instead of lives. How do you recommend people right now, with all of your knowledge and expertise, facing these challenges of judgment, of comparison? What recommendation would you give to them right now?
Oh, goodness. I love this topic. And you're absolutely right. I think life globally is softer. No, I don't want to say it's easier. They have their challenges. I don't think anyone has it easy. I think life is very simple, but I don't think it's easy at all. It's almost like I don't know if you know how to play the game of chess. It's a simple game to play, but it's not easy game to play, right? And you have so many different moves and so many characters in life. And the only advice I have, if I had only one, is be hard on. There's a difference. Critical and hard are two different things. Be very hard on yourself so that when you leave the house, no matter how hard life is, it doesn't phase you. It does not phase you. So do the hard things always and first, always. And, as a mother, had I had a typical child, I would definitely make life very challenging for him. Very challenging. You can do this on your own. If I see him, you can do it again. Fail. I want him to fail repeatedly. Fail. Here's what I give. Another advice I would give is go out and receive 10 no's. So go sell something. And if you receive 10 no's, I'm not buying from you, then you can go home. So keep looking for rejection, keep looking for failures, because that's the only way you're going to find another solution. If everyone says, okay, I'll buy that candy bar from you, every neighbor in the neighborhood says okay, right? Then What did you learn from this? Nothing. Now, if I send a child to send a candy bar to a diabetic neighbor, he's going to say, no, thank you. Well, I want him to ask, why? Oh, I can't have sugar. What's the solution, son? The neighbor can't have sugar. Do you have a solution for him? Well, I have a candy bar here with sugar free. See, that's the only way you can find solutions in life. And solutions is what's going to pay you in life. If you solve someone's problem, you're going to get compensated in life. If monetary wins is what your goal is. But as a child, only because you brought this back up, I didn't know that if I cleaned tables after customers, I was going to earn money. What happened was that I saw a problem. I saw that the customers were waiting in line to be seated and they couldn't be seated because the tables were dirty. So how do I help my mother help the customer? So if you understand that your spiritual journey, everyone's, when people say, I don't know what my purpose in life is, I promise you, we all have the same spiritual journey, is how do I help others? Now, the difference is we all help others differently. That's the difference between Yvonne and Sophia and Bobby and John and Susie, right? Is we help people differently, but your mission and purpose in life is to help others. Whenever you feel depressed, whenever you feel anxiety, whenever you feel purposeless in life, go out and find someone to help, however way. And when you do that, life will reward you. When people say life is not fair, that's the biggest misconception in the world. Life is very fair. Now, if I help Yvonne and Yvonne doesn't help me, reward me back, whether it's monetary or connection or however way, someone next door life is going to find that balance and someone is going to help me.
100%. I agree with what you're sharing. It's so powerful, the thickness of the skin. I love that you said get harder. I've always had this in my mind, and my son that is in athletics, like when things get hard, we go harder. Because if we do the hard things, we do the hard things right now, whenever challenges come, we are prepared. It's like doing hard things right now is the gym of the soul, right? We go to the gym of the soul. We're going to do what is hard. We're going to figure it out because we're alive, so we have an opportunity to be alive, to figure out life. And I agree with you that the concept of life is not fair. And I may be judgmental right now, but when I say life is not fair, I'm not doing my work. I'm going lazy in that moment. If I ever hear myself saying that, Bobby, I would be like, what happened? It's not it- let us it's not only spiritual, it's there. We have a moral duty as human beings to contribute, right, to be a woman or a man of contribution, of presence, of values, as you said. And I love that doing the hard things are not only going to be good for our personal excellence, but also it's called life. We're going to be in the arena of life. So
Question. Let me ask you a question. When people say life is unfair or unfair or unbalanced, right? I'm going to ask you a question. If you're driving down the freeway and you see me in a car broken down, and I'm just sitting in the car, most likely you're going to drive past me. Right? It might have a flat tire, and I'm sitting in the car. You're going to drive past me. Now, if you see me with a flat tire out trying to push my car, odds are the majority of people will pull over and help me push. So when you're actually when you're helping yourself, people immediately and their natural instincts is want to help you. But if you're sitting there and say, I really want to do this in life, I just don't know how to do it, and you're just sitting there, you're not actually doing anything, right? No one's going to help you. It's like I'm going to pass you in the car and watch you just sit there thinking of what you want and wish you want for yourself. I wish I didn't have a flat tire. I wish there was a tow truck to tow me out of the road. But I'm just sitting in the car. But I'm actually on the side of the road trying to figure something out, trying to push the car, trying to change a tire. Most likely, I guarantee you, most people will pull over and say, "Do you need help? Do you need a call? Do you need to?" You know what I mean? Life will send you help when you're helping yourself, and that's
wow,
hard.
that's mic drop. Life will help. when you are helping yourself, life will help you. Absolutely. I love it. And Bobby, the neuroscience, when we help people, forget about just the what is labeled or branded as spiritual, because right now it's such a catch 22. People say spirituality is like if it's a separate thing from everything, and it's just getting very um, glamorous or very egoic sometimes. But when you say that when we serve people, actually neuroscience wise, our vagus nerve gets calmer. We get more present. We exit in Buddhism and all spiritual traditions. There's a goal, which you let go of the me, I, to rise onto the whatever is called the supra self, the higher self, the real self, the nature of who you are as a Buddha, as an inner Christ, etc., etc. But when you are actually serving, your vagus nerve really activates in a way that you are my present, your prefrontal cortex engages, you are more clear to make executive decisions, and suddenly the little me gets out of the window. That's called a moment of samadhi, of enlightenment, of personal awareness. And you open your mind in a way that you bring others in. And that's where culture can be created. That is when a teamwork can actually work. That's when all of our loyalty and core values that keep humanity moving forward gets activated just by serving others. And I don't know you, Bobby, but any time that I have felt depressed in my life or I had had dark moments, nothing gets me out of the dark like serving other people. It's been a phenomenal light. Yeah.
100%. And look, I know that parenthood in general is very selfless, but especially in the world of autism, and I'll tell you why. And I don't know if you could understand this, not necessarily relate, but understand. If I envision this, if I had a typical kid, odds are he'll be going to the school I want him to go to, right? Most likely I will put him in a sport that I think would be elevated, right? A sport where he could be around strong mental mindset, better community. So whether it's tennis or golf or whatever the case is. So odds are if I had a typical child, I know myself, it would be that we travel where I want to, the teachers I want, the school I want, the sport I want, the clothes I want you to wear, you're going to wear as a parent of a typical kid. Then the world of autism comes. I can't dress him in what I want because he's sensitive to this fabric or that fabric. I can't put him in the school I want because they don't provide services for autistic children, right? So now you're really are giving. It's a true selfless world that we live in as a parent of a special needs child. And that just teaches you more about serving others, more about selflessness. And it brings you closer to spirituality because now it's not, nothing is about me. I can't even feed him. I can go to the restaurant I want with him because he's particular with food consumption. So now it's completely, if I have to take all of that into consideration, what will my son eat? What will my son wear? And that dictates the direction of my day. See, and so I'm
I
grateful.
totally relate, Bobby. I totally relate because I have a son with autism and he's 24 years old. I was not remembering his age. That tells you a little bit. I need the gummies. I need the gummies. I need the mushrooms,
I,
Bobby. I need them right now. But I do want to tell you that, because being selfless, because I recently read one of your posts that is kind of you are taking your turn, you are taking your voice just to model to other women and to other people that follow you, right? But it's amazing because for me, the world of autism has been my master trainer on adaptation. Adapt, which is a very useful skill in leadership, right? And entrepreneurship. I got to adapt. My son teaches me that since he was born. You have to adapt. Nothing that you know is going to work. So you have to adapt and find the new ways to communicate to deal with this. But at the same time, I've noticed, and talk to me about this before we have a couple of more questions. Because I know you're super busy, but um, when we adapt and we truly have to put the self that we knew on the side because that I will be the same, like we're going to Europe, we're going to training, we're going to this. I mean, I had my youngest son that just was selected by his own merits. I didn't do anything to the basketball team. For me, I will keep him in Shaolin training all of his life. I will be with, in China with the Shaolin mass all of his life. But guess what? Now he made a different choice and I have to adapt. It's tough, right? But how would you recommend women and people, men, everyone that is listening to this, how important is as we adapt and we are selfless to also love, care, and have compassion for ourselves?
Oh my goodness, that's the biggest challenge for uh, people that are selfless, right? It's because as women, and then cultured women, we come from foreign countries, and so we're taught as you're supposed to be the caregiver. It's all about the family. Everyone gets fed first, everyone gets dressed first, you clean the house for the family, and then if you have any time left, then you take care of yourself. Well, this is where the Western mindset is more accurate than us, right? In terms of, no, you're the foundation of this family. Your son's health, your family, your husband, your business, your children's well-being is dependent 100% on your well-being. Right? If you're not mentally strong and healthy, if you're not spiritually strong and healthy, if you're not physically strong and healthy, your family is going to fall apart, your business is going to fall apart, and ultimately you are going to fall apart. So you make sure, and I say this to mothers all the time, is wake up an hour early, I don't care how tired you are, or go to bed an hour late, I don't care how tired you are, not to clean, not to do anything for anyone, but to do things for you. Whatever that is, if it's read a book, whatever it's going to nurture, strengthen, empower you, do that. Read a spiritual book, a fun book. Go for a walk. I don't care what time it is. Walk around the house, if you can't walk outside. Do something for yourself, because ultimately you are the foundation of you, your family, your business, and anyone that you care for and cares for you. And here's the thing though, if you don't see, we all have mothers. If we don't see our mothers happy, it makes us depressed, and it's this domino effect of energy that we're giving out, right? Ultimately, you make time for yourself at any cost and every cost, and nothing has to actually be monetary. Um, you do things that are, if it's going to cost you money, like get your nails or hair done, go. If it's going to buy a lipstick, go. Buy a pair of shoes, whatever it is that's going to bring you joy, do it. But ultimately, take care of yourself mentally, spiritually, and physically. And it has to be those three. It can't just be, oh, I worked out. What did you do for your mental health? What did you do for your spiritual health, right? Whatever that is and what it means to you. But make sure you take care of all three. And here's the thing. As a mother, I tell this to all parents, men and women. Give your children someone that they can be proud of. It breaks my heart when I hear a child they ask the children, who's your superhero? Who do you look up to? And they say Superman or The Rock or this or that. I want them to look at, as I say, my mother is my hero, right? I want them to be so proud. I want them to know that if you don't give up, they will not give up on their dreams. If someone says to your child, give up on basketball, give up. They say, have you met my mother? Do you know what DNA runs through my blood? She didn't give up. I can't give up.
Wow, love that. Bobby, I love this so much. I want to share something really quickly about what you said about how important it is to care for ourselves, even if it's an hour. I do that. I wake up the early, I stay a little longer. If I don't do that, I'm an ogre. You don't want to be around me, or I'm like, if I don't nurture myself for 1 hour or 30 minutes, I have my practice, etc. I'm a different type of human and I want you to be with a good type of human, right? But one of my mentors, I've been a family constellations therapist for more than 20 years. And one of my mentors said something that really, really shifted the self-love, self-care, self-compassion game for me. He said, the child will be as happy as his mother is. So so the happier we are, or the mother is as happy as his least happy child. So we got to keep investing in ourselves, keep betting on ourselves, because if we don't do that, who else will? If we don't bet on ourselves, if we don't invest in ourselves. So, Bobbi, this has been. I would like to sit with you like 10 hours because you are so like you have so much wisdom and results. You I see you and you are a woman of results, not a woman of words, right? You are the embodiment of something that I call faith in action. Which faith can be easy, but faith, it's said that without work is dead, and you are the embodiment of faith in action, a results oriented, of adaptation, of luxury brands. I mean, Bodela, everything. We're gonna direct all the people to follow everything that you do because I think that people need to know you, man. And we're so pumped, by the way. Sophie, that is behind the scenes, and myself, we've been sending messages to each other like, wow, this is such a powerful woman, powerful ride. But to complete this podcast for now, and you are always welcome to come back. And next time we'll do it live. Next time we'll do it live whenever it's you are available. What advice would you give to anyone right now that is listening to you that just to go to the next level of excellence? So what expectations should they have? What commitment? What non-negotiable to really have a transformative uh, kind of leadership, excellence, masterful life?
Is trust in yourself. We trust others so easily. Trust yourself, trust yourself, trust yourself, trust yourself. Listen to others, but don't implement everything you hear. And sometimes people out of love are scarce. They retract. They try to hold you back. It's out of love. It doesn't have to be jealousy or envy or any of that, but trust that you're able, trust that you're capable. It's God's given right for you to win in life, and celebrate every win, no matter how small it is. Celebrate it and set expectations, set goals. Don't be disappointed. You will have hard days. You will cry to sleep certain days. You will want to give up certain days, but trust that you're able, and no hard work goes unrewarded. Keep doing the hard work. Be hard on yourself and serve yourself and serve others.
I think this is how we're going to complete the podcast because Bobbi just shared like this was like the most powerful closure. God wants you to win. God wants you to win. That's it. And that's how we are going to close this. So, Bobbi, thank you so much for coming. We are super honored to have you. Just tell people how they can find you, where they should follow you. We will put everything, but please let them know.
Absolutely. You can follow me online at bobbivargas.com or Bobbi Vargas on Instagram or at Bodela. I look at all of those DMs. And thank you so much for your audience, for you, Yvonne, and Sophia, for being in the background managing this whole podcast. I appreciate you, ladies. And I hope we reconnect with better and more powerful stories.
Oh, we will, and T and Bodela and the blessing and the spiritual face of autism. We will. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. We will see you next week. In the meantime, stay present, do the hard things, and much love. Un besito. Adios. Thank you for tuning into the Spirituality Now podcast. We hope today's episode has inspired and empowered you on your spiritual journey. If you enjoyed this conversation, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with others who may benefit from it. Remember, spirituality is not just something we practice, it is how we live, how we serve, and how we connect. Stay grounded, stay inspired, and keep evolving. Please join us next time for more enlightening discussions. And until then, take care and be well.